I believe I can fly, and, telling kids in poor black neighborhoods that, if you believe in yourself, you can be anything. Literally 10 seconds later, he's dry huffing his answers. It was a successful combination.
I was like, okay, I don't know. You R. Kelly now. I know you got a lot of girlfriends. We ain't gonna never be together, boo-boo. I ran for him for 2 years. Like, no, ma'am. Oh, no. I don't want to be your girlfriend because you got about 1,500 of those. And then one day, I don't know. He just wooed me, and I looked, I was like, he cute. Okay, man, we might be able to do this. Let me see what we working with. And it just seemed like overnight, it just turned into, and I think because we were friends first, that it was easy because I loved him as my friend. So to fall in love with your friend, it was just an easy transition. It wasn't one of those, okay, he's sending me flowers and jewelry and clothes and cars. It was like, dude, let's go to McDonald's. Let's get this little 9-piece jumping off in a Coke and talk about playing basketball. So we just had that bond. That was really, really cool. And there you go. Next thing I know, we getting married. We have our first daughter, Joanne. We go on tour. I'm knocked up again. We have Jaya. We go on tour. I'm knocked up again. We have little Robert. So our life, it just went from homeboy, homegirl, dancer, choreographer, fiance, wife. Now we've got kids and nannies. We got a bus with toys and cribs and extra security. And I'm just wigging out because I'm like, how did it go from a girl on the south side getting food from a soup kitchen to R. Kelly's wife? Those 3 children that we have were out of love. So it's like we had good times, and that was my friend. And at the end of the day, I lost my friend. And it's hard to deal with. And I hope one day we'll get back there. When we lived in Trinidad, we all slept in the same bed. Do you remember that? I used to hold you just like this. You know, the hardest part about leaving is sleeping without you. Oh, baby, I missed you so much. It's like my heart was broken.
Mine too.
But I know I had to do it in order for us to have a better life. And I know we're not there yet. But I'm trying. I am trying. And it kills me that I can't give you everything that you want. But I am so proud of you. You worked your little fingers to the bone and made $39 all by yourself. I mean, you are my daughter.
I worked my ass off all day, and I'm still $50 short. I am your daughter.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and you listen to me, okay? Nothing in the world is handed to you. You have to work for it. And if you want something bad enough, you have to work 10 times as hard. Now, I know that you don't have everything you want right now, like designer boots and limos, but you will. You'll have all that and then some, because you are special. You are somebody. And I believe in you, Nikki. And so does your father. And don't you ever forget that.
Thanks, Mom.
All right, so what you gonna do tomorrow?
Keep working.
That's right. And you tell that girl, if she call you poor one more time, come tell me that. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You know I got your back. But if her mama confront me one more time, I might have to run. Because, baby, she scares the hell out of me. Okay?
Good night, Mom.
Good night, baby.
What you think about him personally, because we're not talking about that. But what we are talking about, him as a writer, performer, artist, producer, people that he has brought their careers back to life. We talking about from the eyes, he's revamping, bringing back Mr. Biggs and Charlie Wilson, like we gonna be Uncle Charlie, and working on that album from Kelly Price to Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston, Toni Braxton. The list goes on and on and on. The man is undeniable. But at the end of the day, he had to do all of that with that dark cloud. But what kept him focused and kept him going is, I have to do this for my children to make sure that they are okay. Because he could have just went under a rock and hid and shit been in shambles and we be the fuck everywhere. But that didn't happen. So at the end of the day, I love him for that. I will always respect him for that. And he did it with grace in the height of the storm. It wasn't no shit like he went and hid off somewhere and then came back.
Okay, so you listen to that. A lot of people are upset, like, okay, we're not on that. We're talking about all this stuff that he's done and you over here talking about something else. But I get what she's saying about the fact that, you know, he has brought artists back and, you know, he's revived their careers and this and that other. But it's just a little odd to be on that subject right now. But you're on TV and you're all here and there and you're crying and you're upset about what's going on. And then you bring up this topic. So I think what I really want to do is do a live and have a discussion with you guys about, you know, this whole situation and what's going on and stuff like that. I really don't have too much of an opinion on this whole thing because I'm just not into it like that. And some people are saying, okay, he went through this as a child. This caused him to do this and this caused him to do that. I have seen things myself that, you know, have been done to people, like them being manipulated as a child. The parents playing mind games, or somebody playing mind games with the child, or somebody molesting the child, or somebody doing something to the child. It can cause some real harsh things to happen to a person. But in this situation right here with her talking about this, they feeling some kind of way because they're like, you just on TV crying and talking about things that's going on, and now you on here talking about his music and how great he is. At this point, some people just really don't want to hear that right now. You know, they just on his butt so hard about what's going on and what he's done and stuff like that. So I'm just going to let this sit right here, and y'all comment down below. Should we do a live, you know, where we can have a discussion on this whole thing? All right, but y'all leave y'all comments down below and tell me what you think about this whole situation, about how they're saying she's changing up 1 minute it's this, now she's on here talking about how great he is. All right, guys, leave comments below. Give me a thumbs up on my video. Subscribe to my channel if you hadn't already. Subscribe to my other channel if you hadn't already. Make sure you check me out on social media. Make sure you check out my Amazon shop. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, be blessed.
What you think about him personally, because we're not talking about that. But what we are talking about, him as a writer, performer, artist, producer, people that he has brought their careers back to life. We talking about from the eyes, he's revamping, bringing back Mr. Biggs and Charlie Wilson, like we gonna be Uncle Charlie, and working on that album from Kelly Price to Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston, Toni Braxton. The list goes on and on and on. The man is undeniable. But at the end of the day, he had to do all of that with that dark cloud. But what kept him focused and kept him going is, I have to do this for my children to make sure that they are okay. Because he could have just went under a rock and hid and shit been in shambles and we be the fuck everywhere. But that didn't happen. So at the end of the day, I love him for that. I will always respect him for that. And he did it with grace in the height of the storm. It wasn't no shit like he went and hid off.
I let them know that in no way, shape, form, or fashion will I be a part of it. They reached out to my children without my permission. They reached out to my family members without my permission. And then when I brought it to them that I don't want you contacting my children, I don't want you contacting my family, they did it anyway. But what's more important about this is that I'm not happy with the aftercare.
There's so many women out here who have been victims, and they've been silent victims. And for me, I got to a point, Claudia was like, I cannot not say anything anymore. Seeing his victims on TV, seeing Geronda Pace, I was like, hold on. Her story is identical to mine, and we don't even know each other. But no one's paying attention, and guess why they're not paying attention? Because my name is not Hannah. I'm not blonde hair and blue-eyed and live in the suburbs. Because if I was a white woman coming forward, you best believe it would have taken one time, and the whole nation would have rallied behind her to lock his black ass up. But because it's a black woman, all of a sudden, I'm trying to bring down a black man. Actually, it's the complete opposite. I'm trying to make this black man see, you have to take ownership. You have to want your healing. You have children that are watching you do this thing called life. You have to right your wrongs. And I love you enough to not be another yes man on your camp. I love you enough to not sit around and collect checks and let you do the crazy shit that you do. As long as you're doing concerts, I'm getting paid. I don't care. Somebody had to love him enough to say, you know what? Enough. Stop. Get help. You need to right your wrongs. And if I had to be the one to do it, if y'all want to talk about me, if you want to say whatever you got to say, that's fine with me too. Snitching. And this is a lot of shade and a lot of grief for y'all out there who want to talk about me when there's children involved. You have to understand that we have a legal system that is in place that will let a mother like me walk into court and say, well, he hasn't done anything to the children. He has a right to see his children. So now you want me as his victim to make sure I facilitate visitation with this man, but you guys are not taking into accountability when there's pick up and drop off. What if that's the one time that he decides he's done and he's gonna kill everybody? But he has a right to see his kids. So there's more to it. I have to also protect my children, and my children, unfortunately, were exposed to not just their mom being abused. Before I came out, they had to deal with the stories of pedophilia with their father. That's too much to put on young children that don't even understand what.
It's funny because now majority of these people involved in these narratives against R. Kelly are doing a pretty good job making themselves look credible in the public eye, even when it comes to his ex-wife. Now she says she's going to keep this last name and even compares herself to Tina Turner, when she must have forgot she's already put the narrative. Nobody knew she was his wife. So to sit here and compare herself with a person who feels they earned the name they were given, it's kind of odd to me. Just like many people, even those that don't support R. Kelly, I find it hard to swallow with all the allegations waged against Kelly. His wife would also accuse him of abuse, continue to support him publicly, then turn around with such outrageous and blatant contradicting statements. Considering Andrea has been around since at least 1994, she should be able to confirm any truth to the Aaliyah scandal and the tape. Instead, she avoids those questions, and no one pushes the issue that if what she now claims is true, she would have to be just as guilty as she claims R. Kelly is. According to her, when the topic of Aaliyah came up, R. Kelly just denied it and she left it alone. Yet according to what she is now saying, she can relate to the alleged victims because their stories are so much like hers. Even bringing up Geronda Pace, who just a couple years ago was saying that she was scamming her. Very ironic. Andrea leaves out the things she was willing to do to be the wifey as she presents this wholesome image on surviving R. Kelly. She'll sit here and give this little cute story of how they got together, but you can just about imagine the tricks she was willing to perform to win the position she wanted. So also make sure you go and check out my playlist, which I'll put in my community wall, on Andrea Kelly, because certain things I'm not going to repeat in this video as I've already covered. But another thing that she wants to leave out is the fact that these people that support her are under the impression that R. Kelly didn't help her, when if you think about what she's told you, she came in as a backup dancer and elevated to R. Kelly's choreographer, which put her in the position to book other jobs, end up with a studio, etc., etc. Not only that, but when they divorced, he was ordered to pay her $1 million and $250,000 a year in child support, plus $10,000 a month in alimony. But then she got remarried after meeting this guy 6 days after meeting him, in which this marriage only lasts a year. According to reports, he was cheating on her and allegedly scamming people, so Drea filed for divorce. Around the same time, maybe she was hurting for money. So next thing you know, she plants this story in which she starts saying that R. Kelly wasn't paying his child support. And if you go on my site, I have the article links in which you can go and read them about these narratives she was planting. And then it forced representatives for R. Kelly to prove that she was lying. Maybe it's just a coincidence that around that same time and these allegations emerging coming from Drea, you had a manager getting fired because some finances just wasn't adding up. So fast forward 2015. Now, according to this woman, she wants to be this advocate, inspire people. She has to keep reliving her story in order to be relatable to other people. She wants to be relatable to the average person like me or any woman who has been victimized by giving a testimony, a half testimony, leaving out key points. And if this was an average guy, I guarantee you she would not have done any of the things she did to get this man's attention. And she damn sure wouldn't have stuck around when all these allegations of him cheating. Think about it. When this alleged tape was supposed to have been made was in 98 to 2000, according to the last trial. So if you go back, you will have to recall that in 98, Drea Kelly was pregnant. 2000, Drea Kelly was pregnant. 2002, Drea Kelly was pregnant. And according to her, it was in a moment of love. So with that being said, and these allegations floating, let's hypothetically say she gets wind of an alleged tape involving her husband. Wouldn't that make any woman mad and bitter? Yet she hung around even though she didn't publicly support this man through the worst tribulation any person could go through. Nonetheless, let's fast forward. 2015. There's some more rumors that surfaced. Drea Kelly and R. Kelly were allegedly creeping on the low. He has this birthday party in which she's all smiles. I wonder why she wasn't worried about him taking that moment to try to kill her like she just put out recently. And then you got to realize, was it a coincidence? Certain people were also at this party. Same individuals that have been brought into this case today. She may claim that she doesn't know Lisa Van Allen. But is that really the truth? It's funny that you had people like Wendy Williams even call her out on her bullcrap. But then we see how quickly she began to backpedal. Why is it that this woman would get married and still keep her ex-husband's last name? Would this be normal behavior for somebody that's so abusive? It just doesn't make any sense to me, her logic, when she says that even if her excuse is that she was putting up a brave front for the kids, even if she was, who would go out of their way to keep supporting this person publicly, telling people to keep buying the tickets that keeps her lights paid, etc.? Then you have to think back. She then goes to start bringing up these alleged payoffs and these people working for R. Kelly that enabled his behavior. But she wants to conveniently leave herself out of the bunch. You know what I think? 2016, when it was public that R. Kelly was dating Haley Calhoun, that may have rubbed her yet again the wrong way, as she may have had secret hopes of getting back to her baby daddy. Now she's this survivor, an advocate. It's funny that they even have this man, Jim Pratt's allegedly her brother, allegedly a bodyguard, and someone who's made claims that he's been privy to tapes is also a career criminal. This person is whom Geronda Pace claims that she was scammed out of $350. Isn't that petty as hell for a woman who was formerly married to R. Kelly, who should have all these deals and all these castings, as we see that her goal was to get into the industry? Why would she be scamming people for such petty dollars? Then you have the fact that old Sparkle wants to mention the fact that she was at the house and she saw Drea, and maybe that was just the reason that she got offended. That she finds out that this man that she's been trying to get under her hoofs is married. I find it a little strange that in 2015 there's posts still visible on Lisa Van Allen's page tagging Drea Kelly. But they're not cool. They're not acquaintances. According to the post that I retrieved from Lisa Van Allen's profile, she was having a conversation with somebody in which she's talking about Drea. She claimed that she didn't know about Drea, just like the rest of the world didn't, until she moved to Chicago with Rob. A runner slipped and said it and was fired. He said he was cool and she knew about his lifestyle. I even would call the mansion in Olympia Fields on Sunday if I needed him. Hold up. She just said that she moved in to be with him, but then she turns around and says she would call his house to get in contact with him. Okay. And then goes on to say, Rob slept with me for 3 years every day because we didn't sleep night. So, this is just all crazy. Why would you need to call his house, his home, if he's with you as you're trying to put it out there? But anyways, for her to be now such a victim, she then goes on to brag about the fact that she was doing videos, traveling, shopping. He was making hits about her, attending music awards, pulling her on stage on tour after singing Half on a Baby. Does that sound strange, considering we know that Drea Kelly was also touring with R. Kelly? So you're telling me y'all didn't know about each other? I find that interesting. Even more so interesting, people keep looking over the fact that when R. Kelly first began his career, he was 16, 17 years old, dealing with this man, Demetrius Smith. And it's strange that he, in his book, claims that R. Kelly told him at one point in time when he was bringing a girl to be produced by him that he couldn't work with anyone under the age of 18. I wonder if that struck a chord with him. They're sitting here saying that people were recruiting underage girls for this man. And this man is saying he brought a 17-year-old to her. I wonder, yet again, was that another setup? But nonetheless, moving forward, now you have Drea Kelly trying to put on her best performance and convince people how she's a survivor of domestic violence. She wants us to believe that she never saw this video of her husband allegedly abusing a child. What woman in your right mind would hear allegations of their man in a tape and not go watch it, not go find out? This lady continues to have kids with him. Make that make sense. At the end of the day, I feel like Drea, just like a lot of bitter women, has used these kids as pawns. And it's very sad that you sit here and watch it all play out. And you see these people keep going back and forth with their stories and can't keep what they're saying straight. But then want to flip the scenario and get mad at people asking them general questions. They want to get mad when people just don't feed into their bullcrap. They want to get mad because people are curious to know how, again, just a few years ago, you were practically promoting this man. And now you're doing this. You're robbing your kids of what's rightfully due unto them. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about Andrea Kelly. And again, make sure you go slide over to the community wall, as I will be posting the playlist on Andrea Kelly so you can see the other things that I've mentioned about her lack of credibility. Have a good day.
Focus. You ain't never gonna find another nigga this focused.